Welcome back to Central New York's Open House. I'm your host, Jill Hayes. Well, today we're looking at this beautiful 19th century farmhouse and the major renovations that took place here. Before the break, Bob Ryan from Fahy Kitchens and I took a look at the major renovations here in this kitchen. And we're back now and we're joined by Chuck Scholl from Standard Insulating Company. We're going to talk about the ceiling height.
Yeah, when we first came into this room, the ceilings were built down to just under 8 foot. The rest of the house has very high ceilings, close to 10 foot in height. One of the things that we wanted to do, as you can see, Dan and Anne-Marie selected a darker finish on a cabinet. Can sometimes make a room feel smaller, and with the ceilings being lower, we were a bit concerned with would that make this room feel like a cave. So back in the 50s when this kitchen was last renovated, they had built down that ceiling to keep the heat in the room. So we wanted to raise that ceiling back up, and with today's technology and the ways you can insulate a room, Dan made a call to Standard Insulating, and they came in and were able to insulate this ceiling, which Chuck can tell you some more about here.
One of the problems with insulating a renovation of a house in the 19th century is that the framing is made out of 2x4s instead of the 2x6s that we use today. So to accomplish getting the proper R value to meet today's energy standards, we use a spray foam product, which allowed us to get an R21 in a 2x4 cavity. So we have the same resistance to heat in these sidewalls as we would have in a new house without having to change or add to the framing. The other problem with this renovation is that this entire kitchen is over a crawl space. And so the floors tend to be cold with conventional insulation on a floor space. So we also sprayed 3 inches of foam up on the underside of the floor, which will allow the surface of the floor to stay warmer and obviously make it more comfortable. For the ceiling, because they did make the ceiling back to the original height, we went upstairs in the attic and sprayed foam over the top of the ceiling, boxing in the recessed lights so that they can still breathe, and have air sealed it. So the end result is that even though this kitchen kind of overhangs the foundation of the house, because of the spray foam, it's going to be nice and warm and be a comfortable room and be as comfortable in here as it is in a room that's over the main foundation of the house.
And Chuck, that's great because I know most families spend a majority of their time in the kitchen, and I know that the Joneses do that here. So not only does it look beautiful, thanks to Fahy Kitchens, but it's nice and warm in here as well. Yes,
and this is a perfect place to illustrate that these are beautiful, magnificent cabinets, but if you wanted to change them down the road, you can change them, you can replace them. You can't just easily replace the insulation. So Dan did a smart thing by making sure that the walls were as energy efficient as they could possibly be during the renovation, so he doesn't have to worry about it in the future.
I know there's one more room in the house upstairs that you both worked on collectively, and that's the upstairs bathroom. So let's go on up and take a quick look at that.
In this bathroom, we changed this quite a bit from the original design. When we walked in, there was a small vanity here, a toilet, and then there was a corner shower where we are standing now. It was very, very tight, very small. With the 3 children, we wanted to put a bathtub upstairs. So what we did was we took some space out of a bedroom in the house, and we were able to make this nice long run. Dan has 2 girls and a wife, so there are 3 women in this bathroom, so we wanted to make sure we had 2 sinks. So as you can see, we have a 6-foot counter here. The sinks are spread all the way to the end, and then we left some space in the center, and we have some drawers for storage there. The other thing that we did here is we put a linen cabinet in. This is a place, there used to be a closet out in the hallway for this, and we eliminated that closet, and we put this cabinet inside the bathroom so they can put their towels and sheets and things like that.
One of the problems with a bathtub on an outside wall, obviously, is that when you're taking a bath or a shower, you obviously don't have any clothes on, so you're going to be pretty susceptible to a cold wall. By installing a spray foam on the outside wall, it'll keep the tub warm, particularly because on the other side of that tub enclosure there is no sheetrock, which you'll typically find on an existing wall that doesn't have a tub. So we also are able to use the foam to stabilize the base of the tub so that it sets and is rigid and doesn't move while people are moving around inside of it. So this gives the tub the rigidity to make it feel like a cast iron tub, which is obviously an impossible task to get up into an area like this today.
It's just another example of doing the job well the first time. Something you want to do when you're remodeling. You do it well, you do it once.
Sure, because if you had insulated this enclosure with fiberglass and then people get in and start using it and they feel cold, and we've even had instances where we have had ice form on the side of a tub enclosure because of the fiberglass. It just means everything's got to come back out to be able to attack the problem. So you're right, by doing it correctly the first time, you save all that aggravation down the road.
The last component to this bathroom remodeling is that beautiful New York Sash window. And right now we're going to head outside and talk with my husband Scott about the windows and the siding. Coming up on Central New York's Open House.
We were able to keep the same look by keeping the cornice brackets, but we were able to cover all of the fascia